Did something bad happen last night? Because I feel like something bad happened last night. Jordan's mad at me. I fought with all my friends. Tell Way Waters.
Yeah. Happy birthday to the boy, Spencer James. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lawrence Report. And tonight's broadcast is discussing episode 4 of All American. Like I said, happy birthday to Spencer James, who just turned 21 on last night's episode. And that man right here, y'all, he was absolutely turned up to the max for his birthday. And I just love this episode right here. This episode here for me was a solid 10. So that's my rating. Please tell me your rating, with 10 being the highest. You know, what would you rate this episode of All American? One of the many reasons why I love this episode, we saw the comedic range of Daniel Ezra. He was stress-free besides, trying to find a gift. But other than that, we saw his acting range in this right here. You know, he is very, very good at playing a comedic type role. So I love when we have these, fun type episodes of All American, how we used to do back in the day, and just, got a chance to wild out. And Spencer, he was definitely wilding out for his birthday, but it was so much that happened also in this episode. We got some tension with Jordayla, and oh my God, speaking of Jordayla, did y'all see Layla in that blue dress? Layla was looking absolutely stunning. I don't know if it was the hairstyle. It was a hairstyle, a combination of the dress, the eyeshadow. Oh my God, Layla was looking amazing. Woo! And also, we got some more tension between Asher and Wade Waters. We got that right there. Not to mention, we got some more tension with Coop and Patience. What's going on with them and their love story? Let's get into episode 4 of All American, y'all. Episode 4, we see Spencer being woken up by his lovely lady. I'm talking about the one and only Liv, right? And, she says, I made some corn muffins for you. Now, we know that Spencer James' mom, she loves to make, those corn muffins. But Liv, she did it with a little bit of a twist. She added soy milk. I was like, soy milk and muffins? The muffins look kind of dry. I hate to say it, y'all. They was looking kind of dry. And maybe they just need some white icing for them to taste better. Even Spencer's like, yeah, these ain't like the type that my mom be making, right? And, Spencer's like, listen, I really don't care about these corn muffins. I really wanted some cookies. And when I say cookies, you already know what I'm talking about. But she's like, listen, you're going to need these corn muffins because you got a big day, planned with the boys and all that. And then we see Spencer, he's having these flashbacks about everything that happened, the night before. He goes to his mother's house, and his mother's like, well, I'm glad I made a backup batch because I know, Liv may not be the best cook yet, but shout out to his mom coming in clutch. So this episode here was a drunken night of shenanigans for Spencer James, right? He's at these bars getting turned up with the locals. I think he has some of his football players, some of his team players there with him. That boy Spencer, man, he was just out of his mind going crazy, right? But at the same time, for his birthday, he has a gift. Is a gift from Liv. And he thought the entire episode that he lost, the gift. But he also had Coop, she was helping him find this gift, right? But we got to get to the good part, with the good parts of the drunken night. Now, we know him and Jordan are still beefing. I'm actually over this storyline now. I want them to wrap this up. Like, either y'all gonna be boys or y'all gonna be enemies. Like, let's wrap this storyline up, right? And, we see Jordan, they're at this, at Layla's, I think it was at Layla's, right? It was at the party, and, they're talking, and he's like, listen, Jordan says, now, I kind of know what it's like to have a piece of your life, or something like that he was saying, right? And Spencer didn't like it. He's like, oh, yeah. So you got a piece of my life, right? And not to mention, they ended up making this cake for Spencer. And did y'all see the way Spencer looked at Jordan when he blew out his wish? I'm pretty sure, in my mind, I'm thinking, he's like, listen, I'm making this wish to make sure that I win the Heisman, and I ain't got to see this guy Jordan no more. But you know, tensions was rising at this birthday party. Because keep in mind, people are drunk. And then at the same time, we got Asher. He comes to the party. Oh, God. And I knew this was going to be trouble whenever everyone else found out about this. When Asher comes to the party and dropped the bomb that, you know, Coastal is now having Wade Waters as a quarterback, all hell broke loose. Spencer ended up, you know, we saw him throwing a piece of cake to Jordan. They got into it. Then Asher got into it with Spence. It's like, yo, how could you even bring Wade on knowing that everything that Wade has done to all of us? He almost got us, you know, we could have lost our lives, you know, due to Wade, right? And Liv was in jeopardy. It was a lot going on with the Wade story, the Wade situation. And like I said, they got into it. It was a big brawl. Did y'all see Patience, though? Patience, like, she put old Buddy in a figure 4 leg lock. Shout out to Patience. I guess that training that she's been working with Ryan has actually paid off. So, you know, later we end up seeing, Liv, she tried to break it up. I'm gonna say Layla. Layla tried to break it up, but it didn't work out that way. You know, Spencer and Jordan, they still got this tension. It's like, yo, the Heisman, you know, you can have, you know, my goal is to get to NFL. He even, you know, Spencer said, listen, Jordan, every time you don't throw me the ball, less and less, I feel like the recruiters and everybody else is looking at us. They're not paying me no attention. So them boys are still beefing over the whole Heisman, you know, and then, you know, Jordan's like, yo, you've always had your guy. You know, your guy was my dad. And now that I got my own guy talking about, you know, the coach or whatever, you're not happy for me. So them boys, I just want this frenemy thing to wrap up. Can we wrap it up? Not to mention, we end up seeing Spencer so drunk, you know, he ends up stumbling to this bar. You know what I'm saying? He's like out there with Wade. He goes swinging on Wade, and the bar guy tried to throw them out, but, you know, Wade ends up taking care of Spencer, right? And we see that in this episode, you know, Wade did come through in the clutch, and later Spencer does apologize to Wade, you know, and Asher, you know, for being drunk and going at them the way he did, you know. And speaking of Spencer, I forgot to mention this part here. I did, but, you know, he lost the gift, you know, but he didn't realize that the gift was actually a tattoo of, you know, him and Liv doing their little finger thing that they always do, little pinky kiss thing that they always do. And I love this tattoo scene right here. This absolutely had me dying right here. And he finally was able, you know, after going on this adventure trying to find a tattoo, he was actually able to realize that, you know, the tattoo, the gift is actually on my body, you know, because he was trying to avoid Liv, right? But Liv was letting him know that the tattoo's right here on our body. So we love to see that Spelivia scene at the end. That right there, to me, was icing on the cake for Spencer's 21st birthday. Let's get into Jordayla, and shout out to the boy Dylan, man. Dylan was making moves on Layla. It was actually good to see Dylan back this episode, but yeah, he gave Layla this little note saying, you know, things don't work out between you and Jordan. You know, I'm basically here in a couple of years. Just let your boy know. And speaking of Jordan, you know, him and Jordayla get into a little bit of tension, and it's based around text messages, communication, and time, right? So Jordan and Layla, they both felt some type of way about, you know, not returning and, you know, each other's text messages, and, you know, some people, oh, I'm too busy, and, you know, all you had to do just reply with a yes or something like that they were saying. And, you know, I haven't seen yet where Jordayla, you know, they got into a big, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? It's also like they kind of did in this episode right here. But we all know when it comes to these relationships, and we know that Jordan's being a male bridezilla, you know, he's in his feelings. He's a very emotional guy. Let's just put it on out there, you know. You know, he commands so much attention, you know, not only on the football field, but I just think in this relationship, I just think Layla was just fed up with it as well, you know. And later on, we do end up seeing them make up, you know, and they was okay because Jordan had to come and be a man and say, you know what, my bad. I messed up. I'm sorry. I apologize. I need to be the bigger person in this situation. It's on me. I should have sent the text. I should have been better. And I'm glad Jordan did that. Because you do have to step up as a man when you know that you are wrong. And yes, Layla is a busy woman. I mean, she, you know, is running the lounge, and she's working with Ryan, and she's trying to help patients out. She's a pretty busy woman. That's not to take away and say that Jordan isn't busy too, but at the end of the day, as a couple, y'all got to come together. You can't let small stuff and petty stuff like text messages, end up, derailing your relationship, right? And we also see in this episode Jordan and Liv, they are together, and when it comes to Liv, she's getting ready to prepare and write this book, and Jordan's telling these stories about how his father used to take him to the park, and his father was stopping these bullies. I'm like, my God, Billy Baker was actually Superman of the neighborhood. He was always stopping somebody from getting bullied, right? And Jordan shares these stories about the park and how the slide was important to him and his father, and I love that dynamic right there. Let's get into Wade and Asher. Now, we know that Wade was brought in to be this quarterback because Asher is extremely desperate. He had no one to return to. And also, these writers are basically about to set this thing up for Wade to have a redemption story. A redemption arc is on his way for Wade, right? And Wade tells Asher, like, yo, listen, you ain't gonna believe what happened to me the other night. Asher's like, I don't care. If it ain't about football, I don't care. And I thought it was kind of rude of Asher because, we all have those downtime. If you play sports before, we all have those times where we're joking around with our coach about certain things that happened to us the night before or some type of story like that. And Asher just came off so mean, I think, to Wade in this first part of the episode, right? But, even Wade's like, when they was going over plays, like, oh, so that's how, your last quarterback got hurt because y'all didn't do this play correctly and it's easy to read. And, I think Wade even calls him like, yo, you're just an assistant. You're not the official coach. And Asher goes off like, yo, I brought you in here for a reason. You are going to respect me whether I am considered to be a coach or a assistant, right? But later we do end up seeing them two making up, right? And Wade is asking for a second chance. And that redemption arc is coming for Wade. The writers already setting it up. The redemption arc is coming for Wade. Wade's like, listen, I made a mistake. I know that night I could have got everybody hurt, everybody killed. In the previous seasons, we saw how bad of a guy, Wade was. And he apologizes to Asher, right? And, he even calls him a coach. And we end up seeing that shot of Coach Montez. It kind of made me sad a little bit when the camera panned over to Coach Montez. I was like, oh my God, no. But it is good to see them two make up and that, they both understand each other's lane. Shout out to Patience, man. Those lessons with Ryan, I believe, have been paying off. She ended up putting that guy into a figure 4 lock right there. That was absolutely amazing to see. Hey, Patience, keep doing your thing. It is definitely working out. I love the self-defense that you have built up and continuing to grow as a woman in your womanhood, right? And also, using your self-defense as well. But in this episode, we end up seeing Patience and Coop, they come back to the house. And I keep in mind, Patience and Coop are both kind of slightly drunk, right? And Coop is giving her props for, the defense lessons that she pulled out on that guy, right? And she ends up swerving in, trying to go for a kiss. I'm talking about Patience. But Cooper's like, nah, I'd rather for us to talk about this right here when we are not necessarily drunk. Because, when you're drunk and you start doing things like kissing, a lot of words and feelings that, it can get let out. Some things you meant to say, some things you did not mean to say. So I understand where Tamia, aka Coop, is coming from in this regard. But I know Patience felt some type of way. But let's just talk about it when we both are sober. So I completely understand how Coop is feeling in this period right here. Speaking of Patience, we did see our fight kind of go viral. It went online. So I'm curious to see what is going to be the legal action behind the Patience fight video that is currently circulating online, but we will have to see, you know, all the legalities of what's going to happen with that right there. And like I said at the top of this episode, this was a solid 10 for me. I enjoyed this episode so much. I was just happy to see Spencer just take the cool off, you know, take the cool off. You know, his football's been stressing him out. You know, some stuff earlier with Liv was stressing him out. Not to mention those horrible corn muffins was probably stressing him out as well. But Spencer, he's going to take his cool off, relax, just have a night of just wilding out completely. So I love this episode right here. So please comment below. Like I said, give me your rating for this episode. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the Lawrence Report.